It's Kristen Wheeler, and today we are going to be going over technology during the imperialism in chapter 24. A little background knowledge, around 1776 to 1830, Britain and France were breaking out of European control, and from here on out, they were growing so powerful. They started off, they had small little steamships, shallow draft gunboats, steam-powered gunboats, but technology from here will only get better, will only get stronger, will only improve everything and change warfare. One huge technology improvement creation was the big steam power boats. These were also called steamboats. Of course, it was an ocean craft. It was first started off created with iron and then later created with steel. In 1807, the beginning of the idea basically came from someone named Mr. Fulton. But overall, the steamboat completely cut transportation in half, transportation time in half. It no longer needed wind, which is a huge improvement because before they would have to worry, is the wind blowing? Am I going to be able to take this boat out? Am I going to be able to actually get, across the ocean? So they no longer had to worry about that. It was also easier for industrial powers to project military forces overseas. So transportation in general, they could get these military forces from, place to place much faster, much easier, and didn't have to depend on the wind. It was also super, super, super hard for local rulers to stop. They still had these small wooden boats, and compared to, Britain and France, they had these huge steel, heavy, durable boats that the wooden ships had nothing against. Like, they could not even stand a chance against these huge boats. So this was super, super, super great for them. They didn't have to worry anymore, about battling, boat to boat. They had it in their pocket. It was super easy. A huge advantage for them. Another technology, new, improved, cheaper guns. These were basically, they multiplied killing power. The bullets went further, they went straighter, they were faster. They had new guns ranging from pocket size to large artillery pieces. One of those would be the British Enfield and the machine gun. The machine gun was a huge thing. It was created by Hiram Maxim in 1884. It was a devastating weapon, but it was also a huge advantage. They also created something called a percussion cap, which basically they could put these on their rifles, and they could use their rifles, their guns, in wet weather. So again, something else that they no longer had to worry about before changed warfare forever. Again, these machines, this machine gun, these rifles, they were incredibly devastating. They were so much better than what they had before, and it put them at a huge advancement. Other places didn't have these kind of guns. They didn't have a machine gun that was literally so powerful, so strong. Also, another thing, like talked about during the Industrial Revolution, the telegraph was huge technology during this time. Communication went from 5 months to 5 hours. So communication was so huge, so improved. They no longer had to know, where are you at? What are you doing? What's going on? They had something where they communicate and they could talk and they could be on one team, because, they would be on one team beforehand, but they would also be separate because they didn't know what was going on. And so now they were able to communicate across large distances, so far away. It didn't take, 5 months to, communicate back and forth. I mean, just to get a message from one person to the other is 5 months, but for them to get a message back, that would make 10 months before a conversation has even been started. This was so crucial during this time. Again, warfare. It was a huge improvement, huge advantage. Just another thing adding to the list that's making these people so much more powerful than the small rulers next to them. Also, a huge new advancement in technology was medicine. about 1/3 to 1/2 of the people during this time were dying of a disease called malaria. And so they found this medicine. It was actually extracted from a bark of a tropical tree that would check ravages of malaria. This basically made everybody resistant. Now rapid exploration was huge. They no longer had to worry about, oh, well, like, am I gonna die from, war, or am I gonna die from malaria? So this was fixed. This was huge, of course, because almost 1/2 of the people back then were dying from this. And so medicine was a huge improvement. Improved because now they weren't losing people for war to malaria. They were healthy and they were stronger, and they had more people actually for war. So this was also a huge improvement, huge advantage in technology. This topic is just so important because, it affects warfare today. We still use, a lot of these things, a lot of these huge artillery pieces during war. And I couldn't imagine now, during today's time, like, what would happen if we couldn't use certain guns if it was raining outside, or if we couldn't take a boat out because, the wind was there or not. It's things now that we don't even have to think about because that's all we know. Of course, the medicine is a huge thing. It saved over, thousands of people. Half the people were dying. And it was a new thing that came up that they could learn from, that they could steadily better improve. And I think all these things were super important because not only are they done here, but they will steadily continue to be improved till they have today. And this put them in huge power. They were growing steadily. They had more advantages compared to anyone around them. And these people would learn from them, of course, but they also could not stop them, which gave them so much power. And this was very important.